Welcome back this morning. The Arizona immigration law is now in effect, but on Wednesday, a judge blocked part of that measure that required immigrants to carry their papers at all times and police to check immigration status while enforcing other laws. Joining you this morning on the phone is Congressman Brian Bilbray with his take on what happened and what is next. Good morning, Congressman Bilbray.
Good morning, Bridget.
Good to talk with you. First of all, I want to just mention, with 18 states also considering a similar law, and with the situation in Arizona, isn't this a call for Congress to step up and deal with the immigration situation on a federal level?
Absolutely, Bridget. I mean, this is getting curiouser and curiouser, as to paraphrase Alice in Wonderland, is the whole thing that, well, the federal government is sticking its nose into all kinds of local and state issues and going outside our jurisdiction. Here you have one that is a federal responsibility, and the federal government's position is that if the locals do anything, it'll put an undue burden on the federal government to have to handle the problem. I think that the biggest thing, Bridget, is, look, we've got a consensus in Congress of so much support that we've had 230 of Congress support a piece of legislation. But what it really comes down to is that there are those that are holding out and saying we will not allow any kind of enforcement, improvement, any kind of enhancement unless you have some kind of legalization process for those who are illegally here. And the trouble with that, Bridget, is you start even talking about rewarding those who are here illegally, you're going to start a whole new wave. Because, you know, those of us in San Diego, we saw what happened in '86. And people just got to understand that there's no way you're going to secure your borders or your neighborhood if you announce to the world that your first step is going to reward those who break the rules. So, and there's ways we can do it. Just little things like take away the tax deduction for businesses to hire illegals. How could either a Democrat or a Republican oppose that? Why would we give tax deduction to people who are hiring illegals?
The key, of course, and you've talked about this before, is the temporary worker program. Let's acknowledge that this exists. Let's acknowledge that there's a group of people working in the United States, and there is a market for it and a need for it, and address the situation with a proper program federally.
Absolutely, but we make sure we do it by saying that we'll allow people to come here legally, work, and then go home. That is a true guest worker program, and not some way for being able to labor to be able to water down the fair market value. There are jobs that are overwhelming, and a lot of these jobs that Americans don't want, and which isn't that many, but there is. Those jobs can be temporary, where people can come here for 6 to 10 months and rotate through. Those can work. But when you have 17 to 20% of illegals working in construction jobs, Bridget, you and I know there's a lot of Americans who are out of work who would love to have those jobs, and we need to separate those, but we got to be brave enough to say that we're going to address the illegal activity and develop a legal process that those overseas can play by the rules, come and go, but not to create a whole program that says those who have broken the laws get an exclusive agenda to be accommodated.
Congressman, let me ask you this. Senator Lindsey Graham said last night on a program that he wants to change the 14th Amendment, the birthright citizenship, and that scares a lot of people. What is your position on that? What's your take on whether or not there should be a change because of the economic situation, the impact from people who are here illegally?
Bridget, Lindsey's totally wrong. If anybody looks at it, the 14th Amendment says that you got to be born here and subject to the jurisdiction. The children of diplomats don't get automatic citizenship. American Indians, until the 24th, until Congress gave it to them, did not get automatic citizenship. So how can some millionaires, tourists, come over here, pay $48,000 and get automatic? And what it means is, you know, people visiting here do not qualify as subject. You've got to be be able to be drafted or tried for treason. And you imagine that the tourist being drafted, how people would be outraged, or if they were tried for treason. So I think people got to read the Constitution and understand that, you know, birthright citizenship is something that is earned by your parents having to play by the rules, be loyal, and serve in the military. And those are things that our parents earn for us. I understand that. My mother was an Australian immigrant, and I was raised very concerned about this issue. But read the Constitution. It doesn't say everyone born here. It says everyone born here and subject to the jurisdiction, which means they can be forced to serve in the military. They can be tried for treason. We have an obligation of loyalty and obedience. Tourists don't fall in that category. Illegal immigrants don't fall in that category. Diplomats' children don't fall into that category. And I don't understand how people can be comfortable with the fact that diplomats' children who are here legally don't get automatic citizenship. Why would we give somebody who's broken the laws more privilege than those who play by the rules?
Well, we know the situation in Arizona has certainly shined a light on Congress. We appreciate you talking with us this morning about the law that did go into effect in Arizona today. Thank you so much, Congressman Bilbray. Appreciate it.
Anytime, Bridget. See you later, Dan.
See you later. Curiouser and curiouser, that's for sure.
Right.
All right.